My name is Brittany Zajic. I live and work in the Funk Zone, and I'm president of Keep the Funk. Let me show you my neighborhood. The Funk Zone is in a very eclectic neighborhood in the heart of downtown Santa Barbara that has a combination of the creatives, the artists, the tradespeople, the fisher people, and most importantly, the local sustainable business that is Santa Barbara. Keep the Funk is a grassroots organization here in the Funk Zone neighborhood that originated just only a few years ago. Our ultimate goal is empowering the local community. We bring awareness to what's actually changing and going on in our neighborhood.
This 4.5-acre lot in the heart of the Funk Zone is filled with artist studios and local contractors, and it's set to be demolished. I'm Juliette Lamar, your community reporter in Santa Barbara, where a 250-unit hotel is set to be developed right here. But it's getting major pushback from locals.
On Tuesday, a packed City Hall heard hours of public comment for and against the 101 Garden Street Hotel project.
So I'll go over the proposed project. So just to remind you of the location of the projects, we have an aerial to show the existing site. Here's the main site plan. Here's the subterranean parking garage.
One of the frustrating aspects of this project is it was designed behind closed doors for years, if not decades. And it wasn't until 2023 when the Planning Commission forced the developer to have a community meeting that this was shared with the entire rest of the neighborhood.
Why do we need 250 new hotel rooms?
This is a ridiculous design, because it is going to create a nightmare in the Funk Zone.
This is a development that will be here for the next 100 years and is going to make a huge impact on how the Funk Zone is.
The Funk Zone is the most popular place in Santa Barbara right now. That when people come to Santa Barbara, they want to be in the Funk Zone. Not only are we able to bring in tourists, but we haven't lost the locals yet. We haven't lost the local mom and pop shops. We haven't lost the locals that want to have a beer here on a Friday night. We haven't lost the local artists that have been here for decades. And that's an extremely fragile ecosystem that we're working with.
My name is Wallace Cleveland Pyatt. I am an artist in the Funk Zone. I own a rodeo gallery. I've been in that area for like almost 20 years now. When I wake up in the morning, I go to coffee at Roasting Company or the new Dart place. I walk the streets and I walk through the Funk Zone to my art studio. And I walk past this gallery. I might stop in and say hi. Then I'll walk through, I'll go to the tattoo shop across the street, say hi to the artist there. It's the greatest thing walking through and then produce art for the gallery for people to enjoy. That's what the Funk Zone is about. I've had an art studio in container land where this thing might go for at least 12 to 13 years. We create all the clothes there, I create all my art, I sell my art all around the world.
I have at least 9 friends that have businesses running out of that storage yard. So I remember when the Funk Zone was exactly in that spot.
Brittany Zajic tells me the hotel would take over 4.5 acres along Garden Street and Yananali, which currently houses over 100 businesses and art studios. I spoke with several of those business owners on site who told me they've been on this location for decades and that finding a new place to operate in Santa Barbara will be challenging.
We recognize that change is inevitable, and it's not necessarily that we're advocating for no development on that space, but we're advocating for the right one. And this hotel, as it is proposed today, is not the right hotel for this site or this space.
I am very concerned about the environmental process we're undergoing here.
The soil is contaminated. They know the soil is contaminated, and we know the soil is contaminated.
The project is basically being proposed to be put into an area of saturated, contaminated groundwater.
These contaminants have the potential in 1 part per billion to contaminate groundwater for thousands of years.
We're playing with fire.
Community members tell me with a hotel of this size, they have concerns about increased traffic, stress on our city's water supply, and wish the land would be used for housing instead of a hotel.
We really need housing in Santa Barbara, not a huge conglomerate hotel.
What is going to be a 100-year-long project for what is a neighborhood-altering hotel project on 6 acres of land suitable for housing.
One of the biggest issues is, of course, housing. And the housing problem that our community experiences is from projects like this.
Do the right thing and halt the destruction of what makes the funk zone funky.
When these types of projects, especially from out-of-town developments, are built behind closed doors, you're going to have an uprising from the local community when they aren't included in the decisions.
I am more than disappointed to see the outpouring of letters in the 11th and a half hour on this project.
I think a lot of this is kind of a bit passive in just delaying the project further. I mean, we can't make this a community park, and we can't make everyone happy.
With all due respect, you sounded like a car salesman. My fear is that this project has already been bought and paid for.
You might consider making a contribution to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
And I would also agree to the additional contribution to the Housing Trust Fund.
And if we can know that there's a decision made today, we're absolutely open to it.
I appreciate that you've come up with a $500,000.
Thank you very much for the $500,000.
So we did make a deal. So I think the findings we need to make today is to deny the appeal.
Motion passes with a 4-2 vote.
Having this presented in front of the public after all of the important decisions have already been made, and having a large-scale development group come in and take away the money that could be going to reinvestment back into the community, I share people's frustrations with that. The best way that I can channel that frustration is back into the community, and that means spending nights, days, and weekends trying to see how this community come together to better understand how we can fight. This neighborhood is a testament to the resilience and creativity of its residents. For decades, local businesses and artists have woven the tapestry of our cultural landscape, infusing it with vibrancy and character unmatched elsewhere in this city. We need to preserve it.
That's the greatest thing about this area. This is a community. And you know something? Slowly this world is losing that. It really is losing it. And we cannot lose that because the funk zone and Santa Barbara is in my heart forever and ever. I adore this place and we can't lose it.
Keep the funk.